Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Matthew Quilliam and today we're here with a review of the Donner DUS-1 Soprano ukulele. This is a fabulous little ukulele that I recently got my hands on. It's pretty good for any sort of range, but I think especially good for a beginner. You know, you don't really necessarily want to be beginning on those cheap, brightly coloured sort of mahalo type instruments necessarily. Sometimes it's really important to remember that quality beginner instruments at a slightly higher price point do exist, and this is certainly one of those, and I think it's well worth considering, not only because of the way it plays, but the way it looks and the way it feels as well, the way it sounds. I think all round it's got a lot of credibility to it. So let's dive into that now. Now the first thing I absolutely must mention is the really unique tuning pegs, especially the backs here, where you've got these see-through caps. This is plastic on the top. Normally you can't see through here, but you can actually see the gears, and if I'm to turn the peg you can actually see the gear rotate. I think that's quite funky, and the pegs themselves on the instrument I think do look quite neat as well. That sort of reddish, sort of reddy browny kind of colour. I think it's really pretty tuners. The headstock's okay. It's not much of a unique design as much as the tuners are unique. I think it's a pretty generic headstock shape, so nothing really to shout out about there. The Donner logo though, it's okay, but it's a logo. It's not really part of the ukulele, I suppose. So not much more to say about the headstock other than those tuners. But coming down the neck, you've got a nice range of 15 frets, which is more than enough. More than enough that you need when you're a beginner, and certainly a good range if you're in the more intermediate side of things. And the range up high as well is pretty good as well. And you've got this nice sort of wavy bottom to the fretboard as well. Bit of wasted space here, maybe they could have put another fret on or two, although the 15th fret is the octave of the typical C. So I can understand why they didn't give you any more. Coming down to the body, you've got this pretty fairly standard looking body with this sort of decoration around the sound hole. Gives it a little bit of more of a character, as I think it would look quite plain without it. But even then, it's still quite a subtle design. It's sort of plain on the back and sides and everything as well. Strap buttons on either end, which makes it ideal for if you are looking to use a strap. If you're not though, of course, it's still very nice and comfortable, easy to hold. Some people, I think, get a little bit funny about using a strap on sopranos. Personally, I think you should be able to use a strap on any instrument. If you need a strap, that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with using a strap. And so it's nice that they've given you the strap buttons on this instrument. It means you don't have to get someone to drill a hole or a couple of holes into your instrument. Some things I would say about it, it is a little bit on the heavy side, just a tad. Not enough to sort of put you off, but the wood does feel quite thick, very sturdy, but does feel quite thick, does look quite thick as well when I'm looking at the edge inside the sound hole. And so I think if you're looking for something particularly light, then you might not want to consider this instrument. So just bear in mind that it does have a little bit of weight to it, so if you prefer something lighter, then maybe not. But I don't think generally most people it'll be an issue. I think while it's on the heavier side, it's still a pretty light instrument all round, and therefore I think it's probably only a minor point. On the fretboard you've got position markers on the front and the side. I really like the use of the side markers. It starts at the 5th fret. Typically we might see a 3rd fret as well. It doesn't really matter if there's a 3rd there or not, but it's nice to have both the front ones and the side ones just for that extra clarity. So all in all, I think the Donner DUS-1 is a perfectly reasonable soprano ukulele. A great idea for the beginner who's not necessarily wanting to go for one of the cheap, colourful, sort of bright in-your-face painted ukuleles, but is looking for something a little bit more refined, a little bit more subtle. I think this definitely has a good sort of range of offerings for people in that market. Got a very pretty set of tuners, but the rest of the body is fairly unremarkable. You may like that, you may not, and a pretty nice range of movement on the fretboard as well. Nice neck and finish and everything, and although it's a little bit on the heavy side, it does come with strap buttons in case you need them. So overall, I think it's a perfectly decent ukulele, and one that you might want to consider if you're looking to get your first instrument soon.